Hello, everybody. What is up? Welcome to a new episode of your Frederish podcast. And what is it that we're going to talk about today? Today, we're going to talk about something a little different, but at the same time, something really important, really important, in my opinion. That is the so called, I believe Mairo Vergara came up with the term, and I totally second that. I totally approve that. I think it makes total sense. The so-called perfect English syndrome. So, whoa. Podcasts here are supposed to be fun things. Things so we can, of course, practice English, improve our listening skills, and increase our vocabulary, expand our vocabulary, learn new things, etc., etc. But whoa, we're talking about conditions here, disease. No. Syndrome is just a strong name that we add to the term to catch people's attention. But what we mean by perfect English syndrome is the thing that a lot of you guys, students or learners of English in general, have. Unfortunately, I would say you guys have. I myself had it in the past. Maybe I still have it. Who knows? Let me share my history with you guys, and then you guys are gonna tell me. But yeah, basically is the essence that the essentially it's the idea of you have to speak English perfectly. You have to speak English as if you were a native speaker. Not just emulating a native speaker in terms of pronunciation, intonation, expressions, etc., but also being able to converse, speak in English without people from, English-speaking countries ever realizing you're not a native speaker, Why? And then you might be asking yourself, and with a good reason, why is it something bad? Why did you associate that with a syndrome, with a disease? Yeah, maybe this term is a little strong, all right? As I said, it is used just to catch the attention, so we can have more attention to the topic. But here's the thing. It is very interesting that, you as a student, that you are, as, for lack of a better word, as perfectionist as possible, okay, with your English. Meaning you're really gonna you're really gonna feel like putting and actually effectively putting extra effort, being, while learning new stuff, and being extra careful while pronouncing the words, okay? Extra hard work into the pronunciation of the words. This is good. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. It is even healthy, I would say. Go for it if that's your case. But here's the thing. Don't just, here's the introduction, okay, guys? So the problem here is when the students start adding this extra layer, this extra quantity of pressure, just so the target, his or her target, switches from speaking English very well with a very accurate pronunciation that really resembles the way natives do speak, to I really want to come across as a native speaker, okay? I want to talk to people from the States or from other countries, preferably, and then they're going to ask me, well, where you're from, where in the United States, or from where in England, all right? So this is the thing we're talking about, and you're going to have to stick with me for a few more minutes so I can really tell you why do I think it's a negative thing. It has a positive essence, but externally and deep down the way, it is something that tends to be and ends up being really bad, really damaging for English learners, okay? Well, one of the things I always tell my students, if my mind serves me well, I share that, I said that in previous episodes here, is that if you really want to have a very good pronunciation, you should, choose your accent, because it doesn't make any sense speaking very, very well a few words or certain sentences with the British accent and then the rest with American or Canadian accent, or totally vice versa, you know? That'll be really weird, you know? Can you imagine yourself if you're from Brazil, for example, like myself, someone starts talking with a Northeast accent and then, you know, starts the phrase, the sentence with a Northeast accent, and then they end up the rest, the phrase with a Southerner accent. That would totally, you know, sound weird, sound off, to say the minimum, right? So this is the reason, okay? If you really want to speak well, which is again not a problem per se, you have to choose an accent, okay? And here's the thing: you're gonna have to choose this accent and effectively get in contact with the place somehow. Be that preferably move to this place, interact with people there, you know, get married to someone there, or, you know, make friends out there, or even online, even remotely. You should do that, you know, in order to have this accent. Okay, if this is something natural, you know, say for example, you get married, you meet someone, fall in love with this person, you get married with him or her, and then you move to this place, and all your, so to say, entourage, all right, is from that location, you know. The most normal and natural thing in the world will be you getting immersed in that culture, you know. And I don't say the culture of the United States, but the culture of that place, that city, why not neighborhood, region, you know. And then eventually you will start talking like people around you, and if you really want to sound like them and you have an easy way emulating accent, that's it, it's done, right? But okay, all right, this will be the first obstacle, maybe the least dangerous, but the first obstacle for people who just want to speak like a native speakers without any plans, without any idea of what speaking as a native means, right? So you have to choose, and there's many out there, you know. And let's say, for example, you decide, okay, that's my plan, I really want to speak perfectly English, I want to really come across, you know, pass by as a native speaker. Okay, so you choose an accent, say California, and then all of a sudden you, for some reason, move to the United States and end up in a different place, okay? So that's not a problem sounding, say for in this example, like a Californian, in say Texas or New York, that's all right, but you're not at the end of the day, you know. People will ask you like, why do you sound so Californian? You've never been there, you know? So, okay, if you feel okay with that, who am I to say anything against it? But I would feel a little embarrassed, you know, just to say like, hey, I want to speak like a native speaker, and then I just randomly choose that place, you know? So here's the whole point about different accents, you know? Don't just choose randomly an accent, you know? Choose an accent that makes you feel comfortable while speaking English, you know? If you pay attention to the way I speak, I think that probably if an American speaker would hear me right now, listen to the words I'm saying, he would say, hey, this guy can speak English, okay, you know, okay level, maybe a few mistakes here and there, but nothing that, you know, damages the communication, basically. But I can really spot his accent because he speaks in a very neutral way, and that's true because I live in Brazil. You know, I don't live in the United States, let alone in a specific location in the United States. You know, so there's no way I will start emulating a location specifically, right? Anyways, having said that, I would say like, okay, if you really want to sound like a native, make sure you start planning all the rest of your life so you can go to the place you've just chosen to be your future accent. All right? All right, so now you really having as a goal, as a life goal, speaking the most similar, or God helps you, 100% similar to a native speaker from, say, the United States, say from California. okay, now you're there, you're interacting with people, you're emulating their accent, you're speaking the way they speak, you're using their slang words, their popular expressions, you're in touch with the culture, all the cultural aspects that involve communication. All right, you're doing a great job. Okay, I'm not here to say you're not, but well, I don't mean to be the one who is a party pooper, as they say, if I remember correctly the expression. But well, if you ever met a American or anyone from anywhere, that's not Brazilian, who got married to a Brazilian person and is totally immersed in the Brazilian culture, and they can speak really, really well Portuguese, right? If you ever come across with a person like that, you will have realized that, well, although that person can pretty much perfectly communicate as a Brazilian person, in a few seconds, maybe if the speaker in the example, the said speaker, is really, really good with accents, with acting, basically, it will take a few minutes, but sooner than later they will realize you're not. That you will realize that this person is not Brazilian. That doesn't erase, that doesn't delete any of the merits of this person, and this won't stop us from admiring the person, their communication skills, especially if it's an English speaker who's learned Brazilian Portuguese or Portuguese. But at the end of the day, there are nuances. Okay, this is the key word for this part: nuances that will really tell you're not from that place. Am I saying it is impossible for a grown-up person? Okay, here just a big disclaimer. I'm not saying anything for kids moving to places wherever they go. Okay, it's totally different. The way kids learn languages is totally different. Their brain is really capable. There are scientific studies saying that, reinforcing that the way they absorb things, communication nuances, their hearing system still can capture things that grown-ups don't, simply don't. So am I saying it is impossible for a grown-up? No, it's not impossible to overcome and speak 100% perfectly, but it's really, 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 really hard. Okay, I have to tell you the truth. Okay, so you will have, so if it's really, really, really 5 times really hard to get there, it probably will cost you several hours of effort, of studying, of dedication, and at the end of the day, you may wonder, like, why am I doing that? Why can I be just satisfied with my ass kicking? Forgive me my French here, guys, pardon my French here, but my ass kicking, meaning very, 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 really, really duper, super, super duper good English in this example. All right. Well, I really think that this is the best way to think. Like, if you have to focus to speak as best as you can. Getting immersed, knowing cultural aspects. There's no disassociation with, there's no separation between culture and language, in my opinion. So go there and do your best. That's it. But if you still want to come across, if you want to pass by a native speaker and trick people, all right, okay, maybe you really, really have a dream, a goal in life that it's a little bit unusual, but yeah, who am I to judge? Let's just say a few more words about it, okay, and then we finish it off. Okay, this is the last part. I've already mentioned briefly that is the cultural knowledge. Okay, if you know someone, maybe if you are someone who has applied to a nationality visa, to a American visa, the green card, to make it easy, you will have the idea that these people, the people applying to citizenship, American citizenship, or I think that this happens in any country, they have to study just to do the test, just to pass the test. They have to get to know simple, and basic historical facts, events, cultural expressions, I don't know what, because I've never been there, but I can only think of how much of a content about the country, the country's history, culture, etc., 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 you have to absorb, you have to study, you have to lay your eyes on, basically, and eating up books or media that will direct you to that. This is really, really hard work. Here I'm just mentioning the process of receiving a paper, the official paper from the government that says that you can be integrated as a member of that society, right? This is the bottom, and yet it's pretty difficult. Probably I never done that, but who knows who's done that? Who knows someone who's done that? Drop your comments here. I want to read them. But what I want to say last is, in order to really pass by a local, I'm gonna switch swiftly change the term here from native to local, okay? Because if you really want to sound like a native, you really want to sound like a local somewhere. A local is a person who lives in the location, right? Says because I say California, but there's hundreds of cities there, in the state, and in these cities, tens and thousands total of neighborhoods, places, areas, and each one of them will differ from the other somehow, right? So you really, really have to dive and learn and get, immersed. As I said before, I have to repeat this word over and over again, but that's it. And again, at the end of the day, why? Right? So this is my last argument, the last point here. I really want to know your opinion about it. Maybe there are people who aim, as they say, I love this saying, maybe there are people who aim to the stars to hit the moon, meaning people who put a very, very high target in order to, by naturally failing that target, they at least hit something big. They at least have done something big, will have done something big, which makes sense, but I would still prefer telling you guys to, in this saved. I promised I would share my own experience with that. Okay, so let me just be brief, be quick here. When I started learning English, I really want to sound like an American. Okay, I absolutely had no idea of where would my accent be, but I would find Californian accent, and I still do, by the way, really, really cool, despite of never having, even on my most remote dreams, step a foot in there, but I would really, my dream was, I had this dream, guys. It's kind of embarrassing saying that, but we're here, we're friends. Let me open myself up with you guys. I would really, okay, let me just remind you guys, I was in my 15, 16, something like that. I would really like to, I had this dream of passing by a native, speaking as an American, and in the future moving to the country and staying there, but that didn't happen. And of course, not because I didn't go there, but because I opened up my eyes and I was saved by the knowledge of one of the guys I admire the most out there in the internet. If you don't know this guy, Google it, go to YouTube, check his videos out. If you speak English at a intermediate level, of course, if you're listening to me right now, you probably can do that. That is Luca Lampariello. He's an Italian, I would say polyglot, but he's a multiglot, meaning he can speak more than 6 languages, So he's really good, he's great. And all the languages he speaks, no matter the level, and some of them he's like a native, like similar to native, close to native, the so-called C2. In some of them, he's more like a B1, that is an intermediate level. But in all of them, his pronunciation is very good. And that happens because he is really careful with the phonemes of a language as soon as he starts learning them. I try to follow the same pattern in my language studies. Of course, not a fair comparison because I've been here struggling with my 3 or 4 foreign languages, and he with his 3,000, 4,000 out there that he's learning or aiming to learn. But he said that his target as a speaker of any language, any new language he would start learning, was to speak well. Okay, I want to speak well. That really changed my focus, my mindset about it, because I said like, okay, I will speak well. I don't want to pass by a native speaker. Plus, because if I do that, if I manage to trick someone, an American person, to say I'm from somewhere in the United States, I would have to lie. And why would I do that? So I'd rather having a native, complimenting me on my efforts, like, hey, you've come from Brazil, you've never been to the States, and you can speak really, really fairly, like resembling more or less one of us. Like, wow, So that's it. That's my tip for today. I really, really hope you guys enjoy that. Let me know your thoughts down here. So that's it for today. And I wait for you in the next episode. Bye bye.